Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently trying to determine what exactly we want to do next. So we have two missions to plant flags on Minmus and the Moon. We've already done that multiple times for the Moon. I mean, we'll grab Minmus so we can send Jeb there, but we're not going to do that immediately. Now, I like this surface outpost on the Moon, except that it needs to support 7 Kerbals and have 2 pilots on the outpost. So this isn't that, this is not that unmanned outpost that I was talking about. So I don't really like that. We don't need a satellite in an equatorial orbit of the Moon. So I think we can ignore all of these, try to regenerate some by doing a mission. So I think our best bet right now would be to position a satellite in a polar orbit of Minmus, which is going to be a little bit more exciting. But let's just go ahead and do this. It's going to be pretty interesting trying to get our orbit to match that, because that's a kind of wonky orbit. Let's hop over. I said tracking station, not science. There you go. Tracking station. Excellent. Let's hop over to Minmus real fast and take a look at this orbit. That is a weird orbit. Yeah. That's a just bizarre orbit. But we're going to do it. Okay. Let's go ahead and hop into the VAB. We are going to be bringing our out. We're going to be bringing out our odd one. Let's see, we've got the Mark II Stupid Edition, or we've got the standard Mark II. Go ahead and load this. This thing has almost the same delta V as our heavy lander, so this should be more than enough. Let's just check inside of our fairing here. We've got our solar panels. We have our thermometer, presumably. Where is our thermometer? Do we not have a thermometer on here? We should have a thermometer, for sure. So let's go ahead and put our thermometer on right here. Wait, is that one over there? No, that's not one. So let's put our thermometer right here. There, now we definitely have a thermometer. I thought we had one on here already, but apparently we didn't. Well, now we do. Now we have a thermometer on this guy. Let's double check that we don't need anything special on here. We need a thermometer. Okay, that's convenient. So we'll go ahead and save this. This should be plenty to get us to where we need to go. I'm just thinking here, if we're going to do a MechJeb launch, then we should probably take these off and put them on going this way. We'll want them to be bicoupled. Like so. Ish. We should redo these struts. There we go. Check our staging. That's good. Let's see, that's all good. And that's good. Okay. Save and launch. So, we have tons and tons of Delta V. We're not planning on coming back. All we need to do is get into Minmus orbit. This is a light load. So, I mean, the inclination on this thing is going to be wacky, but I feel like that's okay-ish. So let's just go ahead and do a standard launch with this thing. Hopefully we have the Delta V to get to that wacky inclination. That'll be nice. And off we go. Speaking of wacky, our boosters are a little cockeyed, but that'll be fine. You're not doing the roll, MechJeb? Apparently not. At least not yet. Yeah, now it's starting to pitch over. Okay, let's go ahead and revert that back to the vehicle assembly then, in that case. MechJeb does not seem to want to do its role. So let's go ahead and grab this off of here. Make sure it's bi-coupled. There. And we'll just fix this because I'm paranoid. Double check our staging. Looks good. And we'll relaunch. Okay. Now we're actually off to Minmus. So we probably want to do an orbit of the sun before we go anywhere else. I'm just trying to think what we do after this. We probably want to do a manned orbit of Kerbal. So that should be fine. These are swivels. All of them? Okay. Purely for attitude control. That's also fine. So yeah, I'm thinking an orbit of the sun would be our next obvious choice. And then maybe we go, like, from inside out and start with, like, Moho. We're gonna have some heat issues, for sure. We could start super easy and go to, like, Gilly. Even less gravity than Minmus. Gotta love it. Okay, so, this... Well, while MechJeb is doing this, let's just take a quick look here. So that's the Kerbal system. Eve is here. Moho is here. Does Moho have any moons? I've never been to Moho. It doesn't look like it. It's just Moho. Hi, Moho. You look a lot like the moon. Good for you, Moho. So yeah, we could try for Moho. I don't know if we'd have overheating issues. Like I said, I've never been to Moho. We might want to land an unmanned probe there first. Might not be a terrible idea. However, with the rules of the solar system tour, we are going to be landing a manned probe on everything that we can. However, I do think to some of the places that I've never been before, an unmanned probe for practice would be good. I've actually been to Duna. I don't know if I've landed on Duna. I've never been to Dress. I've been to Eve, and I've been to Gilly. Real quick here. Eve, where is Gilly? Here's Gilly. I've been to Eve and Gilly. I've never been to Moho. I've been to Duna, but I've never actually landed on its moons. Well, its moon, singular? Yeah. I've never actually landed on Ike. How are we doing? We could probably stage our fairing here pretty soon. Well, not yet. We'll let MechJeb try to handle it for now. And then I have been to the Joule system. I've crashed a probe into Joule before, and I've landed on Lathe. But I've never been to any of these other moons out here, so that'll be exciting. And then Elu, of course, I have never, ever been to. It's kind of chilly. So that's kind of the plan. We should stage our fairing. Get out of here, you fairing. Excellent. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. We're going to be landing on all the things. The main one that I am concerned about, outside of like Delta V concerns, the main one that I'm concerned about is Moho and overheat. Never been in that close to Kerbal before. And there go our solar panels. Hi, Moon. What are you doing there? It's hi, Moon. I'm sorry. That was a terrible, terrible thing. I will never do that again. Actually, I probably will, because I'll forget that I did this. I've probably done it before. I've done it before, haven't I? I'm reasonably certain. So we'll be finishing up this this orbit very soon. we are almost single stage to orbit here if you don't count the boosters as a first stage. This rocket stage here is going to be burned out just before we finish this burn. That's okay, though. Let's see, we are currently not warping. There we go. There goes MechJeb. So yeah, I think the next thing would be an unmanned probe to Moho. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We're probably not going to have a contract for that, but that's okay. It'll be kind of exciting. There we go. Now we're in orbit. And just fine-tuning our orbit a little bit with our maneuver stage. There we go. So the question is, we can get rid of our ascent guidance. The question is, do we want to match planes? Well, first things first. We should head back to... Come on. Focusing on Kerbal. Where are you at, Kerbal? There you are. Well, that's exciting. It doesn't want to focus on Kerbal. There we go. Finally got it. So, the question now is, do we want... We should set Min-Miss as our target, absolutely. But do we want to actually do that? I'm not 100% certain that we do. So, let's go ahead and try a home-in transfer to target as it is, without a plane match. And see what actually happens. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. So let's go ahead and match planes. That'll take 236 Delta V. Not too bad. Man, now I want to be working on the probe to Moho. Never done it before. Would it be just a satellite? Probably for a first attempt. We'd probably just do a satellite around Moho, and then we'd land a rover on Moho, or, well, some sort of a station on Moho. And then we'd land somebody actually on Moho once we know what kind of, like, radiators and such we'll need. Okay, so node in T-minus 15 minutes. That won't be too bad. Well, 10 minutes now. We're only at X50 time. Ooh, nice eclipse there. I like it. And it's gone. Hello, what was just over here? I saw something over here. Not sure. Anyway, we're matching our planes with Min-Miss. This is going to be exciting. We're going to want to probably be in as large of an orbit as possible so that we don't need too much Delta V to move around. So once this is done, we will do a home-in transfer to target. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ish. There we go. Now our planes should be matched. So we will create this node, and we want to burn as little as possible to get an encounter. So we want to go this way, not quite that far. Oop, this is very touchy. We want to be out over here, going like this. Looks like that was too far. Looks like at this level of granularity, that's about what we get. That's fine. Maybe push in a little bit closer so that MechJeb has stuff to work with. And we'll execute this node. Okay, so this will get us equatorial, which is going to be, you know, exciting. But we will be in position for this momentarily. This is going to use up about a third of our maneuver stage. And then, of course, we still have another 2,400 meters per second in our actual satellite. So I think we've got the delta V that we need to pull this off, but it's going to be a little exciting. Okay, we should be warping now. Yes, indeed we are. Only 50x. Unfortunate. Looks like the moon wants to eclipse again, but Kerbin's going to beat it. Kerbin's such a jerk. Moon is like, all I want is to cause eclipses. And Kerbin's like, no. You. And Moon's like, that doesn't even make sense. Well, there's Moon. We're burning at about the right time. Oh, no, we're not. We're just repositioning for a maneuver. That's fine. Okay. Now we're going to be going another 5 or so minutes. We missed the eclipse. Thanks, Kerbin. Kerbin is such a jerk. So we're going to be burning at about 45 seconds here. About 44 and a half now. That was about a second off. Rip me. Apparently I can't math. Okay, so we are on our way to Minmus. We've got ourselves our satellite. We've got ourselves a thermometer attached to our satellite right here. And that is excellent. We'll be able to gather scientific data, but we already can gather scientific data from space around Minmus. That's not really an issue. But off we go. We are going to need to probably use the heavy lifter to get this thing to Moho. Like, this that we're flying right now, this rocket booster, it's not going to get to Moho. Absolutely not. And we may need some thermal radiators, so I think I would err on the side of caution and throw some on. Yeah, that's a T200. We don't have a Science Junior on this thing. That was the stupid edition. Excellent. Okay, so once we get out here, we will very, very soon be seeing our final periapsis over Minmus. Right about... ish. There it is. Okay. Very, very minor amounts of delta V there. Okay, so we'll be coming in over here. We'll go ahead and warp here. 8 days forward. Minmus, where are you? There you are. Hi, Minmus. Nice to see you again. Seems like we were just here yesterday. Well, yesterday for you. Today for me. Just a matter of minutes ago. You and your time traveling. I don't understand you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and circularize, but we're not going to use MechJeb to do it. We want to do this on an absolutely minimal level. So we want to very soon now, right about here. That's where we want to do it. And then we're going to want to circularize out here, because we want to be as far out as possible. And again, I'm probably going to do that manually. So let's go ahead and execute this node. It'll be a little bit exciting. We may have to do some manual tweaking after it's done, because MechJeb may not get it exactly in to where we're just within the bounds of Minmus's gravity. Minmus's gravity is so low, very, very minor amounts of delta V will do extreme things at this distance, which is good, because we need to change our inclination very, very substantially. And one thing that I should probably find out, let's see here. Where is... Here we go. KSpedia. Wow, that's behind everything. Okay, I'm just gonna access it via a browser. Okay. How do we target a contract orbit? Because I don't actually know that. Is there a way? You can't target a contract orbit directly. Okay. So we gotta eyeball it. Gotcha. That's fine. Okay, MechJeb, how goes this orbit? Okay, that's basically perfect. So we're gonna want to try to circularize out here. It will not take much. So we are at a height of 1272, or 172,990. So 2.17 million. That's our target. Oop, that was too much. Very, very minor amounts of delta V have huge effects. That was too much. That's as close as we're going to get. Okay. Execute that node. That node is 7 days away because Minmus's gravity is so low that we're moving incredibly slowly, and it's quite a long distance. But that is fine. We're going to go ahead and warp all the way up there. We'll be able to warp at extreme speeds, so it's no worries. 2, 1, 0 hours. And we are basically in position. This burn is going to be minuscule, but it's going to have a very, very large effect. With any luck, MechJeb will nail it. So far, so good. Okay. 2.148, 2.175. Close enough. Now, our inclination is definitely wacky. This thing is exactly a polar orbit, so let's go ahead and see about changing our inclination to 0 degrees. Well, what's the inclination on this thing? Can we target that through MechJeb? Let's see. Wait, that's the station. Inclination, yeah, exactly 90 degrees. Longitude of ascending node 192, argument of periapsis 128.5 degrees. So we want to change the longitude of ascending node to be something. This is very different, but let's see if east is the correct direction. 192 degrees. Create node. Okay. Orbital plane has a low inclination, recommend greater than 10 degrees, and so maneuver may not be accurate. Okay, let's just change our inclination then to be 90 degrees. Create node. Yep. That's the correct inclination, but our longitude of ascending node is definitely wrong. But let's go ahead and do this. And then we would execute up here-ish. Like right here. We would execute for a burn to change the longitude of ascending node to be the correct direction. So let's execute this node to change our inclination to 90 degrees first. Because that's what we need to change our longitude of ascending node. Which longitude of ascending node, if I understand correctly, is essentially the 360 degrees in this direction, whereas inclination is the 360 degrees in this direction. And then the argument of periapsis, I don't fully understand, but it's not in MechJeb, so we'll ignore it. Easy as that. This is only 37.7 meters per second to change our inclination 90 degrees because we're so far out. It takes very little delta V to do anything. So once we get that done, then we're going to be able to adjust our apoapsis and periapsis after the longitude of ascending node. I mean, this is a great orbit right here, and I would leave it here if it was up to me, but it's not. Wait, we have to have a mystery goo on this? Since when? I checked that. We have to have a mystery goo on this. Oh well. I still want to... We're not going to complete this contract, but I still want to fulfill this orbit. Now, it's going this way. But first things first, let's change our longitude of ascending node to be 192 degrees. Let's see if east is the correct direction. Create node. Well, that looks right-ish. Let's remove that, and let's see about west. Well, that looks to be exactly the same thing. Okay, that's intriguing. Go ahead and remove this. And you know, like I said, this is basically a perfect orbit right here. Maybe we just leave it at this. We're not going to complete this contract since we apparently need a mystery goo on this. So let's just leave it at this. Head on back to the Space Center. We'll abandon this contract because, you know, we're good that way. Well, maybe we won't abandon it. How long do we have on this? This one. It definitely says mystery goo. I guess that's my fault. We would lose 55,000. That's fine. Contract canceled. Okay, what else do we have here? Plant flag on the moon? No. Orbital station around Minmus? Not right now. New surface outpost? Is this that same one? It's a different one, but we would need 4,000 units of liquid fuel in it. It's a little awkward. Synchronous orbit of Minmus. That's not a terrible one. Adjusted orbit of the moon. That wouldn't be terrible. But I think we want to go to Moho. So let's go ahead and think about doing that. However, I'm going to put a cut in here, and we'll think about that next time. See you all then.